Welcome to Booxcape, your sanctuary for book lovers. Here we provide concise summaries and insightful reviews of the best books. Turn off the noise, settle in, and immerse yourself in the world of literature. Discover new favorites and explore captivating stories with Booxcape.
Hello, my name is Susie, and today we are diving into Brené Brown's groundbreaking book, Daring Greatly: How the Courage to be Vulnerable Transforms the Way We Live, Love, Parent, and Lead. This book is a profound exploration of vulnerability and its impact on our lives. Brown, a research professor and vulnerability expert, shares her extensive research and personal experiences to illuminate how embracing vulnerability can transform our lives. Let's delve into the key themes and principles of Daring Greatly. Introduction: The Power of Vulnerability. Brené Brown begins Daring Greatly by redefining vulnerability. She describes it as the willingness to embrace uncertainty, take emotional risks, and expose oneself to emotional discomfort. Contrary to the belief that vulnerability is a weakness, Brown argues that it is the birthplace of courage, empathy, creativity, and meaningful connections. She addresses societal pressures that discourage vulnerability and the fear of judgment and shame that often prevent individuals from being authentic. Brown's key message here is, vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. Truth and courage aren't always comfortable, but they're never weakness. Brown draws parallels to the ideas presented in Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl, where Frankl discusses finding purpose through suffering and vulnerability. By embracing our vulnerabilities, we open ourselves to deeper connections and personal growth. Chapter 1: Scarcity and Shame. In the first chapter, Brown tackles how a culture of scarcity and shame affects our lives. The scarcity mentality, or the belief that there is not enough of anything to go around, leads people to constantly strive for more and feel inadequate. Shame, a powerful emotion linked to feelings of unworthiness, prevents individuals from embracing vulnerability and hinders their ability to connect with others. Brown explains how scarcity and shame are perpetuated in our culture and offers insights on how to break free from their grip. She states, "We live in a culture of never enough, never good enough, skinny enough, popular enough, rich enough, successful enough." Brown's observations echo the themes in The Gifts of Imperfection, another one of her books, where she emphasizes the importance of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Recognizing and addressing these feelings of scarcity and shame is crucial for developing a sense of worthiness. Chapter 2: Understanding and Combating Shame. Brown dives deeper into the nature of shame in the second chapter. She emphasizes the importance of recognizing and acknowledging shame, sharing personal stories to normalize this universal emotion. By understanding shame, individuals can develop empathy for themselves and others, leading to greater self-compassion and more meaningful connections. Brown introduces the concept of shame resilience, a strategy to combat shame by speaking about it, understanding its triggers, and sharing our stories with trusted individuals. She reminds us, shame derives its power from being unspeakable. In this chapter, Brown shares examples from her research, showing how people from different walks of life experience and combat shame. These narratives help to demystify shame and make it more approachable. This concept is aligned with the ideas in Rising Strong, where Brown talks about the importance of getting up after a fall and owning our stories of struggle. Chapter 3: The Courage to be Vulnerable. The third chapter delves into the heart of the book's message, vulnerability as the key to a wholehearted life. Brown explains that embracing vulnerability requires immense courage, as it involves stepping into the arena of life and risking failure and criticism. She introduces the concept of daring greatly, inspired by Theodore Roosevelt's famous speech. Brown encourages readers to show up and engage with life despite their fears of vulnerability. She asserts, Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. Brown shares anecdotes from her own life and the lives of others who have dared greatly. She illustrates how vulnerability has led to breakthroughs in personal and professional contexts. This idea is reminiscent of the themes in The Gifts of Imperfection, where she talks about the courage to be imperfect and the power of vulnerability in creating a fulfilling life. Chapter 4. Vulnerability in Love and Relationships. In this chapter, Brown explores how vulnerability is essential in fostering authentic and loving relationships. She discusses the importance of trust, intimacy, and open communication in building emotional connections. By sharing their vulnerabilities, individuals create an environment of trust and empathy, strengthening their bonds with loved ones and experiencing deeper levels of love and understanding. Brown says, "Staying vulnerable is a risk we have to take if we want to experience connection." Brown provides examples of couples who have deepened their relationships by being vulnerable with each other. She also references her own marriage, showing how vulnerability has strengthened her bond with her spouse. These insights are in line with the principles in Hold Me Tight by Dr. Sue Johnson, which emphasizes the importance of emotional responsiveness and vulnerability in building secure and loving relationships. Chapter 5. Parenting with Vulnerability. In this chapter, Brown examines the challenges of parenting and the significance of vulnerability in nurturing emotionally resilient and compassionate children. She emphasizes the role of parents as role models, encouraging them to embrace their imperfections and model vulnerability for their children. By allowing their children to experience vulnerability and discomfort, parents enable them to develop courage and self-compassion, preparing them to face life's challenges with resilience. Brown shares personal stories about her own experiences as a parent, as well as insights from other parents she has interviewed. She discusses the importance of creating a safe space for children to express their emotions and the impact of parental vulnerability on a child's development. This concept is also explored in The Whole Brain Child by Dr. Daniel J. Siegel and Dr. Tina Payne Bryson, which highlights the importance of nurturing a child's emotional intelligence. Chapter 6. Vulnerability in the Workplace. Brown applies the principles of vulnerability to the realm of leadership and organizational culture. She highlights the transformative power of leaders who create environments where vulnerability is valued, fostering creativity, innovation, and collaboration among team members. Brown also explores the challenges of vulnerability in the workplace and provides strategies for leaders to encourage openness and authenticity. She shares examples of organizations that have thrived by embracing vulnerability, demonstrating how it leads to stronger, more cohesive teams. This aligns with the ideas in Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, which discusses the importance of empathy, trust, and vulnerability in effective leadership. Chapter 7. The Vulnerable Journey. The final chapter of Daring Greatly discusses the transformative nature of the vulnerable journey. Brown emphasizes that embracing vulnerability is a lifelong process that requires continuous courage and self-awareness. She encourages readers to recognize and challenge their armor, the protective mechanisms they use to shield themselves from vulnerability. By dismantling these defenses, individuals can live more authentically and experience deeper connections with others. Brown shares stories of people who have committed to the vulnerable journey and the profound changes they have experienced as a result. This ongoing journey towards vulnerability and authenticity is also discussed in The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck, which emphasizes the importance of self-discipline and continuous personal growth, embracing vulnerability for a fulfilling life. In the conclusion, Brown reiterates the central message of Daring Greatly. The courage to be vulnerable is the path to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. She reminds readers that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to one's courage and authenticity. By embracing vulnerability, individuals can cultivate self-compassion, foster deeper connections, and lead with empathy and authenticity. Daring Greatly is a powerful and transformative book that challenges prevailing cultural norms and encourages readers to embrace their vulnerability as a strength. Brené Brown's research-based insights, personal anecdotes, and practical advice offer a roadmap to a more authentic and wholehearted life. Through this book, Brown has ignited a global movement that empowers individuals to dare greatly, lead with vulnerability, and cultivate a more compassionate and empathetic world.
Thanks for joining us on Bookscape. If you enjoyed this book summary and review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts and book recommendations in the comments below. If you want to purchase a copy of the book or audiobook, check out the link in the description.